So, welcome to a short talk about averages in maths, and in particular four different things: the mean, mode, median, and range. A brief definition on the board for each one. The mean, think of it as the meanest one to find. It's the hardest one to find, maybe, because looking at the right-hand side, it is what the mean is found by adding up all the values you have. The values are a posh word for all the numbers you have. Add up all your numbers and then divide it by the number of numbers you have, and that answer is your mean average. It's the most common form of average. Adding all the numbers together and dividing by how many numbers there are, that's the most common form of average. In day-to-day life, if you're asked to find the average of something, that's usually what you'll do. If you're playing cricket and you want to work out your batting average, you add up all the runs you scored and divide it by the number of times you're out. If you want your bowling average, you add up all the runs you've given away and divide it by the number of wickets you've taken. And that would be a bowling average. So those are both examples of mean, I suppose. So that's the mean. The mode, from the French word, I guess, probably, well, maybe not, I don't know, but think of it anyway, it's coming from the French phrase à la mode, meaning trendy or fashionable. So the mode in maths, when you have a set of numbers, the mode is the most popular one, the most common one, the one that appears the most often. So that's the mode. The median sounds a bit like medium. And when you think of median, you think of the one in the middle, don't you? So the median is the number that you'll find in the middle of all your numbers when the numbers are put in order. So put them all in order from lowest to highest, or highest to lowest, and the one that's in the middle is the median. And finally, the range is a bit different from the other three. First of all, it doesn't start with an M, and second of all, it's a bit different because it's not really a form of average, but we kind of tend to talk about it in relation when we tie it in with the other three. The range is the difference between the largest number and the smallest. And so you find it by finding the largest number in your set and taking away the smallest one, and that's the difference between the two, and that's the range. So let's just work through a couple of examples and find the mean, mode, median, and range in each case. So here are some numbers. This is a bunch of numbers that I made up. Aren't they wonderful numbers? Yeah. Let's find the mean, mode, median, and range. Which one should we do first? Should we do the mode first? That's often the easiest one, isn't it? The mode, we said, which one was the mode? Well done, it's the à la mode, the trendy one, the most common one. So look at that list of numbers. Which number, if any, occurs the most frequently? Well, I can see there are two fives. But also, hopefully you're noticing it as well, there are also two nines. And then 1 12, 1 6, and 1 3. Well, this throws up an interesting question straight away. Can you have more than one mode? And the answer is yes, you can. If you have two or even more numbers that appear joint modes, then both of those numbers in this case, or all of those numbers, if there's more than two, can be the mode. So in this case, we would say the mode was 5 and 9. You don't try and average out the 5 and 9. You don't find halfway between 5 and 9. Just so the mode is both of those numbers, 5 and 9. I would suggest that if you had 7 different numbers and none of them repeated, then I would suggest you said that there was no mode, rather than saying that all numbers were the mode. But in this case, where there are two 5s and two 9s, and one of the other numbers, the mode will be 5 and 9. So there we go. It's slightly unusual beginning, but nonetheless fairly straightforward. What should we do next? Let's do the median. Let's find the median. Median sounds a bit like... That's right, medium. It's the one in the middle, isn't it? So let's put the numbers in order and see which one comes out in the middle. I think the smallest one we've got is a 3. Then there's two 5s. Then there's a 6. And a couple of 9s and a 12, I reckon. How many numbers have I written down then? Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many numbers at the top? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're in good shape then, aren't we? Always check that. Always check, because it's so easy to miss one out. It's such a shame to get it wrong just for the sake of missing out a number. So 7 numbers here. Where is the middle point in these 7 numbers? Well, let's take a guess. Would it be here, around this 5? Would that be the halfway point? Well, I think not, because if that was the halfway point, to the left there are 2 numbers, and to the right of the midway point there are 4 numbers. So that's obviously not right. So let's rethink that. Where else could the halfway point be? Let's move along one number, because we were needing to move a little bit to the right. Well, let's move along one space. If the halfway point was there, there'd be 3 numbers to the left. Ooh, and 3 numbers to the right, which means I am halfway there. Well done, me. I found the median. So with 7 numbers, the median will be the 4th number. Just quickly, before we move on from median, we need to talk about what happens if you have an even number of numbers. Let's add in another number. Let's add in a 2 here as well. At this point now, where is the halfway point? The halfway point was here on the 6th, but it won't be anymore, will it? Because that would leave 4 numbers to the left and 3 to the right. So the halfway point's going to have to be a little... Oh, sorry. Halfway point's going to have to be... How annoying. has to be a little bit to the left of that, isn't it? If I move the halfway point along one number along, is that going to be right? How many numbers to the left now? 1, 2, 3, and how many to the right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's not right either, is it? Which means the halfway point must be halfway between those two numbers. And that makes sense, doesn't it? Because look, 4 numbers to the left, 4 to the right, which means the median, or the halfway point, will be halfway between 5 and 6. And you can work out halfway between 5 and 6, can't you, hopefully? I reckon even Tom can do that, can't you, Tom? Well done. It's 5 and a half, isn't it? Halfway between 5 and 6. Fantastic. So there's the median there if there were 8 numbers. But they weren't 8, there were only 7. So let's go back to our original answer for this particular question, which is that the halfway point is right there. So there's my median. The median here will be 6. What next? Let's do the range. Let's do the range. Range. What did we say the range was? It's not a mountain range, is it? But it's kind of like mountains. We're looking at the difference between the largest and the smallest. So we've got to find the largest number and the smallest number and take them away. Largest here is, well done, 12, and the smallest, 3. 12 minus 3 is 9. There's your range. And finally, the meanest one, the mean. We've got to add them all up and divide by how many numbers there are. So we've got to do 5 plus 9 plus 12 plus 5 plus 6 plus 9 plus 3 and divide all of that by how many there are, and there are 7 of them, aren't there? Right, now then, when you're adding them up, add them up however you like. I'm going to do it in my head, but if you need to write it down, write it down. Do it however you like. If it's a calculator paper, feel free to use a calculator. But whatever you do, double check your answer. So 5 and 9, I'm going to take it from the left. 5 and 9 is 14, 14 and 12 is 26, 26 and 5 is 31, 31 and 6 is 37, 37 and 9 is 46, and 46 plus 3 is 49. Well, what a very clever surprise that is. It works out very nicely, doesn't it? But let's just double check. Let's count from the right. 3 and 9 is 12, 12 and 8 is 18, 18 and 5 is 23, 23 and 2 is 25, 25 plus the 5 at the end is 30, 30 plus 9 is 39, and I forgot to add the 10 on the 12, didn't I? So that's 49. I was right, it is 49. 49 divided by 7 is, bless me, is 7. So there's our mean, 49 divided by 7, which is 7. Don't forget to add your total, to divide your total at the end by the number of numbers. Some people just add up the numbers and say that's the mean. It's not. You've got to divide it by however many numbers there are. So there we go. There we go. We found the mode, the median, the range, and the mean for that set of values at the top, that set of numbers, the values, posh word. Here's another situation where we can find the mean, mode, median, and range. This is a frequency table, very beautifully drawn. As you can see, it's about the number of friends that people have, I suppose. And you'll see the number of friends is the left-hand column, and the frequency is the right-hand column. The frequency is how often that number of friends has occurred. In other words, how many people who have that number of friends. So on the first row, for example, 4 people have 5 friends, 8 people have 6 friends, 3 people have 7 friends, and so on and so forth. And the box at the bottom, and I would suggest that we might just fill that in with the total number of people that we're talking about. So from the top, 4 plus 8 is 12, 12 plus 3 is 15, 15 plus 6, 21, 23, 24, 25. We've got 25 people. Let's just double check. 2, 2 and 6 at the bottom is 10, 8 and 3 is 11, makes 21, 4 at the top makes 25. Yeah, okay, so 25 people. What should we do first? This is the thing. We're doing the frequency table because there are some very easy mistakes to make here, and we'll just talk about those very quickly. Let's start with the range. What is the range? Remember, this is the number of friends we're talking about. What is the greatest number of friends that occurs? Hopefully, you're all sitting there right now saying 10. And you'll be right, because the greatest number of friends that anybody has is 10. Don't be confused into reading the frequency column rather than the friends column. The greatest number of friends that anybody has in this group is 10, and the least number of friends anyone has is 5. Okay, so the range here will be 10 minus 5. The range here will be 5. Okay, good start. The mode next. Here's another one that people can often look up. What is the most frequently occurring number of friends? What is the most frequently occurring number of friends? If you are saying that the answer is 2, I have to ask you this. How many people on that list have 2 friends? Nobody there has 2 friends. Everyone has at least 5 friends, don't they? If you're saying to yourself you think the answer is 6, you'd be right. Because how many people have 6 friends? Quite right. 8 people have 6 friends, and that is more people than any other number of friends. So, for example, 6 people have 8 friends. 2 people have 9 friends. 2 people have 10 friends. 3 people have that many. 4 people have that many. So the most popular number of friends is 6, because 8 people have them. And if you were thinking of 2 as the answer, that's because you were looking here and seeing 2 twos and thinking there are more 2s than any other number, weren't you? And that's wrong, because you're not looking at the number of friends there, you're looking at the number of times that number of friends occurs. You're looking at the frequency column, not the number of friends column. Okay, the frequency column tells us how many there are of each number of friends. There are 8 people who have 6 friends, whereas there are only 2 people that have 9 friends and 2 people that have 10 friends. The most popular number, the coolest number of friends to have, is 6. And therefore the mode is, I've written it wrong, haven't I? The mode is 6. Excuse me for making the same mistake, I'll just be telling you to make. The mode is 6, because that's the most popular number. There we go. Next one, the median. Median. Now, you might write all the numbers out here. You could say, okay, well, there are evidently 4 people have 5 friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 8 people have 6 friends. 1, 2, 3. And you could go on like that. You could write them all out and work out where the halfway point was, and that would be your median. And that would work. That would work just fine. But actually, there's an easier way of doing this. If you were paying attention earlier. How many people have we got all together? That's right, 25. 25 people. I wonder where the halfway point would be in 25. If you're like me, then you can work out the halfway point will be the 13th person, because there'll be 12 people before the 13th person, and there'll be 12 people after him, which means that the 13th person will be the median here. So if we can figure out where the 13th person will be, that will be our median. And we can work out the 13th person quite easily, because actually the nice thing about these frequency tables is that they've actually put everybody in order already. They've put all the numbers in order already, because all the 5s at the top, aren't they? Then the 6s, and then the 7s below them, and the 8s below them, and the 9s below them, and the 10s below them. We can work out where the 13th person comes from that list, and that will be our median. So from the top, there are 4 5s, and underneath that there are 8 6s. 4 and 8 is 12, so the first 12 people are already spoken for. So the 13th person will be the next person on the list, and the next person on the list will be one of the 7s, won't he? Or she. Because there are 4 5s, 8 6s, making 12 people, so the 13th person will be one of the people who are on the 7th row, and therefore the median number of friends will be 7. For exactly that reason. Hope that's clear. And finally, the median, not the median, the mean. I'm going to write these out there. If we need to find the mean now, and in order to find the mean, we need to find out how many friends there are altogether, and then divide it by the number of people who have friends. And to do that with a frequency table, it's often helpful to add up, not to add up, I suppose. Is it add up? I suppose we are adding up the number of friends altogether that there are on each row. So on the first row, this one here, 4 people have 5 friends. How many friends settle together? Well, it's 4 5s, isn't it? And 4 5s are 20. And on the second row, 8 people have 6 friends. 8 lots of 6 are 48. And on the third row, 3 lots of 7. And on the next row, 6 lots of 8. Again. And on the next row, 2 9s. And finally, 2 10s. That's the total number of friends. We add all that up and divide it by the number of people who have friends, which is 25. That'll give us our answer. Let's do a little bit of column addition, shall we? 8, let's do the units first. 8 plus 1 is 9, 9 plus 8 is 17, 17 plus 8 is 25. Nothing more is 5, carry the 2. And from the top, 2 and 4 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 and 4 is 12, plus 1, 13, 2 more, 14, 15, and 2 more at the bottom, 16, 17. It's 175 friends. Well, would you believe it? As luck would have it, again, the total number of friends is the number that will be easily divisible by the total number of people who have friends. So there are 175 friends shared between 25 people. How many 25 go into 175? Well, I reckon 4 25s make 100, and 3 more make 75, so I reckon that's an average, or a mean of 7 friends per person. And there we go. So we've discussed the meanings for each of the 4 types of average that we've talked about. We have shown how we can find each of those when we have to have a list of numbers, and in the final example we looked at how we can find the mean, mode, median and range from a tally chart or a frequency chart. I hope that's a reasonably clear summary of the position, and good luck with it.